Good morning. It's Vijay here. Welcome to yet another episode of Pre-Market Commentary. I believe that this week will be a very exciting week because there are lots of things which have happened over the weekend, which should bring volatility. But I think it will be the positive one. And last week, for instance, there was a big tussle between the bulls and bears. And finally, if you look at the broader market, the bulls have won and with some good news over the weekend. So you're slowly and steadily, the bad news is going into the background. It is not that it has completely gone. Sometimes what happens is too much of good news is bad news for the markets. So we will just analyze what the good news was. GDP data came in over the weekend, 7.4%, which nobody had anticipated. Even CNBC, which is generally a bullish channel, had looked at only 6.85. Then you had GST data, which crossed 2.01 lakh, 2 lakh crores in May 2025, and gross GST tax collection was about 16.4%. Though it is a little lower than April, but when you compare to last year, it has been very good because April, a lot of adjustments happen. So generally, April data is good, but May is equally good. Then the fiscal deficit data, that also, as far as the revised target is concerned, we just met there. So there is no problem there. And then FY25 fiscal deficit of 4.8% of GDP was versus revised target of 4.8%. Basically, fiscal deficit data is good. Then you have the OPEC meeting on the weekend. They decided to hike in July in terms of number of barrels per day, which means the prices will be under pressure. They are unlikely to go up significantly from here, even though the Iran issue is there. Then how did the markets perform this month? They say sell in May and go away. Broader markets actually outperformed Nifty and Bank. Nifty closed May with a gain of 1.8%. It was not down. Bank ended with 1.1%, not great, but still positive territory. Mid cap was where the broader market is where the action was. Mid cap went up by 6.4%. Small cap outperformed the market with a weekly gain of 9%. All sectors closed in green, barring Nifty, Pharma, and FMCG. FMCG, I'm bearish, but Pharma was a surprise, probably because Trump had said that he will put tariffs. Media, realty were the big sectoral gainers, and Nifty, FMCG, as I said, was the big loser. And markets last week, broader markets again outperformed Nifty and Nifty Bank. Nifty closed with a loss actually at 1%. Bank Nifty was a positive. Nifty mid cap was up close to 1%. Small cap was up by about 1.2%. And then PSU Bank has come into the limelight. You can look at the performance of Canara Bank and Punjab National Bank, both of which we hold after a very long time. They've started moving, and probably that may be the sector for this week and months to come. So Canara Bank and UCO Bank were the leaders last week. And as I said, FMCG was the top weekly sector loser, not only in terms of the monthly. Pharma ended flat. What did the FIs and DIs do? It looks a very, very big number because of the Morgan Stanley index, what shall I say, rebalancing. So you had FIs selling about 6,500 crores, DIs bought about 9,095 crores. Huge moves. Just to disregard it and look today as a fresh day. So what are the cues this morning? US markets were very volatile, though Dow Jones closed at par. News S&P 500 was flat. Nasdaq was down by 0.3%. Today, Dow futures are down by 180 points because fresh flare-up between Ukraine and Russia. It was going at a steady pace. Suddenly, Ukraine has attacked Russia with about more than 100 drones, and they have damaged some 40 aircraft, is what the news we're getting. So Russia has retaliated. Gold has dropped about 0.9%, silver is falling 1%, and Brent crude has risen about 2.6%. Again, when there is something to do with war or war-like conditions, these things will go up. So this is the bad news, which is there in the in the periphery. Though we have lots of good news. Dollar index is steady, Trump has increased tariffs of 50% on steel. So that will affect our steel companies here, I suspect. And I was talking about this Indigo having a tie-up with Turkey. And I was wondering when the axe will fall on Indigo. I think now it has fallen, so Indigo may be under pressure because Indigo has been told to end the lease pact with Turkish Airlines, and they've been given time till August 31st. Previously, they had asked for a 6-month extension. Electra Green Tech, I think this is corporate bargaining with the politicians. They had Maharashtra had cancelled the orders. Now they say, okay, we will give back the orders. And when the officials met the transport ministers, this is the problem when you supply to government. Any company will be held to ransom by the government officials. So that has come into being. So what has been the earnings updates last on Friday? Nykaa came with reasonably good results. Apollo Hospital was mixed, and weak results came from Vodafone, Sun TV, and Titagar Rail. So you can expect this reaction in the markets today based on this. So finally, the caution here is you have to buy on bad news and sell on good news. So I would be very careful in just going berserk and buying stocks which are, just jumping on good news. Definitely, I believe the market will continue to go on up at least till August 15th, as I've been repeating. So I will continue to be bullish till that time, unless there is some black swan event which upsets all our calculations. So I will continue to buy on decline. I will pick and choose my stocks. Today is a free day as far as my Telegram group people are concerned, where I show them the intraday trading, which I do mainly in the cash market. And let's hope we are successful today. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye.